Well, hello, hello. Welcome back. Okay, here's the deal, okay? I'm coming live because of this, all right? Do you find yourself, you're a private practice owner, and you're literally scared. You're not sure which direction the private practice world is going. In the Facebook groups that you're in, you hear the constant chatter about private practice being dead and everybody's going to go out of private practice, everybody's going to go out of business. Maybe you've even seen people who've come and they've told you, I'm shutting down my private practice, or you've seen people who, who are about to shut down their private practice, or you have friends who've shut down theirs. And there's just this narrative, are we going to win? I think private practice is dead. At this point, less than 50% of private practices are owned by physicians. And so you're like, maybe I should just, quit this thing, go get a job, quit this thing, go do something else. If that's you, I made this video for you, okay? Or maybe your private practice is going well, but you're like, with all the things that I hear, is this a viable option? Should I get out of this now while I'm ahead, right? Like, as if things were not bad enough, here comes Medicare to even drop their reimbursements even more. Is there any chance we're going to survive? Okay. And if that's you, you're in the right place. And I would love for you to say hi in the chat. I'd love for you to invite the private practice doctors in your world to come join us, because this is a conversation that we really need to be a part of. Now, if we've never met before, my name is Dr. Una. I'm a pediatrician by training. I've been a private practice owner now for 15 years, so that's a decade and a half. And I'll tell you this, okay? The first time I heard about private practice being dead was in my third year of pediatric residency, which was in 2008, okay? Don't go into private practice is dead. 15 years later, I still have a practice. I still have a practice that's profitable. I still have a practice that's a seven-figure practice. My practice happens to be about 60% Medicaid, so it is Medicaid heavy in one of the lowest, actually the lowest paying specialties, and we're still thriving, right? And the reason I'm telling you this is because there are things that we can do to thrive in spite of the system. You might say, yes, but the system, the insurance companies, and all of those things. This is the deal. There's strength in numbers, not just numbers of physicians, but numbers of empowered private practice owners. Why have I been talking and screaming and doing all the things so that private practice owners can win? Because when we have enough empowered private practice owners, we finally put ourselves in a position where we can go against the system. We don't have the numbers yet. Okay. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to help you thrive. And I'm trying to help thousands, tens of thousands of you thrive. So then we can go after the system. Okay. So it's not as though we don't have systemic issues that need to be addressed, but we need empowered doctors to address those issues. Okay. All right. So this is the reason why. Okay. I know you can thrive. I have done it for myself for a decade and a half. I have done it for, private practice, so many private practice owners. At this point, we're talking in the thousands who are now building private practices that are working. Your private practice can work. Your private practice can thrive. Your private practice can help a lot of people while creating financial freedom and time freedom for you. Okay. It can. All right. I'm so convinced of this. This is the reason why I show up on social media every day to talk to doctors. This is the reason why I write books. This is the reason why I have the EntreMD podcast. This is the reason why I started a private practice channel, like specifically for private practice owners, because I want to see you thrive. This is the reason for the events we have. This is the reason why we founded, this was last year, we founded the Profitable Private Practice Movement. And the Profitable Private Practice Movement is all about helping physicians who own private practices master three things, because we've looked at it. I'm like, if you master these three things, your private practice will work. Okay, it will work. And then we can master so many other things to make it work even better. But if you master how to fill your schedule with all the patients that you want, if you master how to get paid for the work you actually do, because I cannot tell you how many people have full schedules but are not getting paid for the work. So they're busier, but they're making less. Okay. And the insurance company has something to do with it, but we have a whole lot to do with it too. Okay. If you can master that, and if you can master building profitable teams, now I use the word profitable teams because these are people who help you serve and earn. These are people who help you take care of your patients and contribute to the profitability of the practice. If you can master these three things, your private practice will work in the times we find ourselves in. Okay. So that's why we created the movement. And if you're not a part of the movement, oh my goodness, come join us. Okay. EntreMD.com/movement is less than the investment is less than a cappuccino a day. It is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. People who work with me in the EntreMD Business School and the tier up after that, they are investing 30 grand, 50 grand, and all of that stuff. The Profitable Private Practice Movement, you're there for $197 a month or $19.97 a year. It is beyond ridiculous. Why is it that way? Because I'm committed. There are 123,000 primary care practices alone. Alone. I am committed to helping you win. I am committed to helping every private practice owner win. Every. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some things here. Now, why do people say that private practice is dead? Like, are they just making it up? No, no, no. There are actually life threatening, when I say life threatening to the life of the practice, there are life threatening things that are coming against private practices. Okay, so they're not making it up. Okay, so I'm going to show you three of the commonest reasons why, well, three reasons why people say that. And in it, I'm going to show you the opportunity. Because in the face of these life threatening things that are happening, there's opportunity. Okay? There's opportunity. Okay, so let's get into it. So, the first reason why people say that is declining reimbursements. Okay? Declining reimbursements from the insurance companies. We all know this is a thing. Okay? So it's been declining since forever. You have inflation going, and on top of it, earlier this year, Medicare was like, you know what? See how difficult it is to run a private practice and thrive in private practice, and the inflation and the great resignation, everything that's going on. We have people at the front lines, primary care, private practice owners who are taking care of all the millions of patients and all. How can we make their lives more difficult? We are going to reduce what we pay them. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to reduce it by 2.83%, which is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not here to say it doesn't exist. Of course it exists. And of course it's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. But this is my question to you. So what are you going to do? Shut down your practice? What are you going to like? It is so expensive to shut down a practice. It is so expensive not to figure stuff out. Like, are we going to do that, or are we going to decide we're going to thrive anyway? Okay, so this is what I want to show you. Did they reduce the reimbursement? Yes. Are we going to come after everything at the systemic level? Yes, once we have enough empowered doctors to do that. Okay, so what can I do today? What can I do today? I'll tell you what you can do today. I'll show you what the opportunity is. Now, if you do the math, and actually I'm going to do the math here because I forget the exact number, but let's say you have a private practice doing $1 million in revenue, okay? And they reduced your revenue by 2.83%. All right, so 2.83 divided by 100 times $1 million. That's $28,300. $28,300. That's what your revenue was reduced by. Now, that's nothing to sneeze at, right? But it's 28,000. Like, because the first time I heard the number, I'm like, oh my goodness, look at what they've done to us, blah, blah, blah. But it's 28,300. Okay. Now, is that right? It's not right. But hear what I'm trying to say. We throw away a lot more money not collecting copays. We throw away a lot more money not collecting coinsurance. We throw away a lot more money not collecting balances that are owed to us. We throw a lot more money by undercoding. We throw away a lot more money. I'll give you an example. Okay. If you're a doctor who is so scared of an audit that you do not bill level 4 visits, even though you see them all day, every day, but you bill them as 3 because you don't want an audit. Okay. Typically, the difference between a 99213 and a 99214 is about $35. Okay. So let's say you're doing this 5 times a day. All right. So 5 times 35, you're throwing away $175 every single day. Okay. Which you're like, that's not a lot of money. Okay. That's not a lot of money. Okay. So $175 times 260 working days a year. Okay. So let's say you work 260 days a year. That's 45,500. That is almost twice the pay cut Medicare did you. You're doing more damage all by yourself by undercoding. So, yes, there's a decline in reimbursements, but at the same time, the private practice model, the private practice as a business, is a high waste business. High waste. Like, we throw away money all day, every day and twice on Sunday. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, most of us are not open on Sunday, but we throw money away all day, every day. So just by undercoding 5 times a day, which I promise you, I have talked to doctors who, when I look at their E&M codes, they have 95% 99213s. There's no private practice that has that many 99213s. It's just undercoding. Okay. So I've seen many 93. So I'm not saying you're doing 93. I'm just saying you do this 5 times a day. 5 times a day for 260 working days. What does that come to? That comes to 45,500. So you can overcome the declining reimbursement by Medicare and give yourself a raise by coding properly. And we're not talking about copays. We're not talking about any of those things. It's just one strategy. So what is the opportunity? The opportunity is at the baseline. The private practice business model is a high waste business model. And so and when I say waste, I don't mean you're throwing away medical supplies. We don't collect the money we deserve based on the work we do. Like, we just don't. Okay. And so if we start doing that, we can overcome that. We can overcome the declining reimbursements. Now, remember, am I saying it's fair? I'm not saying it's fair. But what I am saying is for today, can you overcome that? Yes. Can you increase your revenue, your profit, right? Even with what Medicare is doing? Yes, you can, because of the model we find ourselves in. Okay. Now, getting paid for the work you do is one of the core things we focus on. Remember, I told you we could focus on 3 things for the profitable private practice movement. It is one of the things we focus on. Why do we focus on it? Because if you can get this right, you can make your private practice work. You can make it work. Okay. So again, if if you're not part of us, if you don't even know what that is, entremd.com/movement, you can defy the status quo. You can defy it and build a private practice that thrives. That's number 1. Okay. Number 2, what is the reason why people say private practice is dead? Number 2, high turnover. Okay. High turnover and staffing shortages. Now, when I started my private practice, we had a very stable team. Okay. And the team started growing, all of those things. We started bringing in different layers of teams. And then we started having a higher than normal turnover rate. And I remember going like, no, this is not going to fly, because the turnovers are expensive. It destabilizes the team. It's like starting and stopping and all of those things. And so we went in to look like, okay, how do we build this culture? How do we hire properly? How do we do all of these things so we can have a stable team? So we did that. Our team became stable. And then COVID hits. Okay. And the team becomes unstable again, because you remember right after COVID, we had the great resignation. And so even people who had like, oh, I've had this person with me 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, people just started dropping like flies. Right. And then we had to go back and say, okay, it's not that, like, yes, we've built what we've built, but the people's value system had fundamentally changed, and we're like, okay, how do we adapt to that so we can have this team that that stays. And so we did that, and I'm grateful that after that we went back to having a stable team. Okay, we had to do a lot of analysis with that and all of that, but this is the point. This is the point. If you noticed in all of those things, I never said the team sucked, any of those things, because it's not the team. So this is the opportunity. Remember, I told you, I'll tell you what the threat is, and I'll tell you what the opportunity is. When you think about high turnover and staffing shortages, the opportunity for us is that there has never been a requirement. There's never been a leadership requirement for us. You hire people, you do whatever, and there was no requirement to grow as a leader. There's no requirement to learn to hire people. There's no requirement to learn to fire people, to build company culture, to do any of those things. There's never been a requirement, ever. But this is the deal. If you learn to hire, if you learn to interview, if you learn to onboard, if you learn to do these things, if you learn how to do your ongoing evaluations, this is what I hear all the time in Facebook groups. This person has been with me for 2 years. How much of a raise should I give them? I'm like, what is like, yes, longevity is powerful, right? But no, that's not the way this works. We have to link this to metrics. We have to link this to outcomes. And many people, I talk to them, I'm okay, what are the core results this role creates in your business? They have no idea. They have no idea. So no wonder their team has no idea. And no wonder it's easy to walk away, because my work doesn't matter, right? So what is the opportunity? The opportunity here is, if we can learn leadership, we can build rockstar teams. Rockstar teams are not acquired, they're built. We can build teams that will turn our businesses right side up. We can build teams who understand how to serve the patients and understand how to partner with us to keep our practices profitable. We can build teams. I see this all the time, and it's a really sad thing, right? Where you have somebody who's running a really big practice, maybe they're bringing in 3, 4, 5 million in, and all of that stuff. The owner can barely pay themselves. The owner can barely walk away for the practice for a 1 week vacation, 1 week, like 3 days without everything falling apart. They can barely like think because they're constantly putting out fires. When I look at that, what is that? It's a leadership problem. Like, we have not learned to lead the people to help us do what we want to do. And so, because of that, their work doesn't feel meaningful. It's so easy to leave. Because of that, there are no real challenges. They're not getting better. This is not making their lives any better. So, there's no real need to say, you don't even know. Like, for us, when we stop to analyze, okay, what is the trigger for the great resignation? Why are people leaving? We found it's no longer about offering more money. It's no longer more money alone, right? It's no longer about that. It's no longer about longevity in a job. That's not something people are looking into. So we had to look, like, what is the new core value they have now? What is the new thing that matters to them? And then we built our compensation packages around that, and we started looking for people who wanted that. So we were able to create true win-win situations. If you can learn to lead, you can overcome the high turnover. You can overcome the staff shortage. I have clients who have people, doctors, reaching out to them like, hey, I'm moving to this area and I've looked at all the practices. I want to come work for you. These people do not even have an ad out. They legit do not have an ad out, and people are reaching out to them. MAs are reaching out to them. Front desk people are reaching out to them. Office managers are reaching out to them. Every single one of these positions, I have clients who have people reaching out to them. Not even the other way around. If you learn this, it will change everything for you. So, is that a threat? Yes. Do we have a huge opportunity? Yes. Do you have a huge opportunity to distinguish your own practice? Yes, because so few physicians are doing this. Okay, so now remember what I said. In the profitable private practice movement, what do we help you master? Number one, how to fill up your schedule with all the patients you need to be profitable, okay, and to accomplish the goals you want to accomplish. Number two, we show you how to get paid for the work you do. Number three, we show you how to build profitable teams, okay, because we're in a time where it's not going to work. It's not going to work if we don't know how to fill our schedule. It's not going to work if we don't know how to get paid for the work we do. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. We have to know these things. Okay. So again, if you're not part of the membership, if you're not part of the movement, please hear me. Please hear me. For $197 a month or $19.97 for a whole year, you can learn all these things. And I am telling you, if you learn the three things we help you master, you will build a practice that works. End of story. Okay, so let's talk about the third thing. Okay, we're talking about threats. Hi, finding joy in the garden. Hello, hello. I see LinkedIn user. Tell me who you are. Okay, Restream doesn't show me that, but tell me you are. I want to say hi to you. Okay, okay. So the third reason why people say private practice is dead, this is what it is. Administrative and regulatory burdens, okay? And is what do we call it, right? A death by 1,000 clicks. It is, I mean, like, it's so much stuff and so much paperwork. I mean, like, I did not become I did not become a doctor to do this. I definitely did not start my private practice to do this, right? So when I looked at the research, it shows that doctors are spending on average 16 hours a week on non-clinical work. And I suspect is, of course, that's an average. So for many people, it's much higher. The charting, the documentation, the prior authorizations, all of those things. And I mean, like, it's a lot. Okay. So I even remember when, earlier, much earlier, so probably the first 2 years of my private practice, before I learned what I'm about to show you, I would, I'm out all day. I would leave early because, I'm the boss and I have all these things to do. Then I'll see patients all day. Then I'll come back home. And of course, I have charts to do and all these other things, and, that I have to work on, and all of that. And I remember, oh, hi, Dr. Olapejun. Nice to see you. Okay. So I had all these things that I had to do, you know. And so I remember this day like it was yesterday. So I had come back from work. I maybe I ate, I don't know, maybe I ate. And I was sitting in my home office, and here I was at the computer, not documenting, doing, it's probably 7 at night, right? Like, still doing my stuff. And then my daughter comes in, my daughter who hasn't seen me all day, right? She sees her mom, she comes in, she's so excited, like, hey, mommy, and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working. And my kids, they're so understanding. They're like, so one, I don't remember how old they were, but the older one told the younger ones, like, okay, mommy's working. Let's go so she can work in, she can do the work that she needs to do. And they left the office. And I remember thinking, I said, this is stupid. This makes no sense. Like, first of all, this is a practice I'm building. Like, I am creating this, right? And this is one of the things I'll advise every one of you: take personal responsibility for what's happening in your life. Don't turn around and say insurance companies suck and because of that I'm doing this work. No, because if you say that, you've given away your power. You can't fix it. So I was just like, this is nuts. I'm away from them all day. I come back home to be away from them more. This makes no sense. If it makes no sense to you, type it in the comments, right? Like, this makes no sense. It made no sense to me. And so I stopped and I said, okay, we need to fix this. Right? We need to fix this. I need to figure out how to work when I'm at work. And when I come home, I'm at home when I'm at home. Right? Okay. So the administrative burdens, the regulatory board burdens, the amount of documentation, and all of this stuff. So you'll say, okay, Dr. Una, remember, I'm showing you threats and opportunity, threats and opportunity. What is the opportunity here? Please hear me when I say this. The opportunity here is this: as doctors, we're hardwired to do it all by ourselves. We are hardwired. Like, if it will be done right, it's up to me. We are hardwired for this stuff. So we don't take help. Like, I cannot tell you how many private practice owners I've interviewed, and they've hired people and they're doing the work they hired people to do, all the way to scheduling appointments, scheduling follow-up, returning calls, doing their prior authorizations, sending out documentation, sending letters to the patients for the letters that the patients want. Everything. They're doing everything by themselves. So this presents a great opportunity for us. What is the opportunity here? Oh my goodness. I want to invite you from today to start setting the stage. So in your private practice and really in your world, you do the work that only you can do and nothing else. You do the work that only you can do and nothing else. If there's something that shows up on your plate that somebody you've paid money can do, you let them do it. And if you're making that commitment, type in the chat, I commit. Like, I'm actually going to get commitments out of you on that one, right? You do the work that only you can do. You do the work that only you can do. Because if you do that, now I'll give you an example. I have a doctor. She's one of my clients. I have a doctor. She is so amazing. We started off working together when she was an employed physician. Okay. And here we are, her private practice. I think she just celebrated her third year. And she's running a multi seven figure practice. Okay. She's running a multi seven figure practice, and she has more time off than she's ever had. Okay. Now, the secret to this is running a profitable team. And this is why I talk about it all day, every day, all day, every day. Okay. Okay. So when she shows up in her private practice, she has the charts prepped by her team. She has scribes that are doing her notes, and she's trained them to do her billing as well. She has, like, all the labs that need to be done, all the things that need to be ordered, all the calls to insurance. Like, she has a well-oiled machine built around her. So she sees on average 30 plus patients a day. At 5, she shuts down her computer. She goes home to spend time with her family. She takes a day off every week. And I will tell you what the secret for that is. She does what only she can do. And she's hired people and trained people, because for many physicians, it's not about hiring the people, it's about training the people. It's about the expectation, right? She's trained her people to do all the things. Like, you would see a doctor who has a practice with 40 employees, and when they get a new MA, he's training the MA. You're like, wait, what? Do you not have other MAs? Have we not systemized this stuff? Can one person not train the other? What in the world is going on? No wonder we're so stressed out and so burned out. So we have a huge opportunity because we're used to doing everything ourselves, even when we hire people. Let me show you the most ridiculous one, and please don't do it ever again if this is something that you've done. I would see doctors who would hire somebody to do a job. They delegate it to the person. The person isn't able to pull it off. They hire another person to do what they hired the first person to do because they're so nice and they don't want to dehire them or reassign them. What? So now you're paying two people for the job of one. You're training two people for the job of one. You're going through the quote unquote stress of maintaining two team members to do the job of one, which nobody may be doing, and it's still on your plate. Don't do it. This is why I say profitable team. Every role needs to be serving and earning, and you can learn to do that. If I could learn, let me tell you, I started off as an entrepreneur, as a super shy, socially awkward, introverted introvert. When I started my first business, which was my private practice, please hear me when I said this. When I say this, I didn't hire anybody. I had no team members. And I had no team members because I didn't think anybody would work with me because I didn't think I knew what I was doing. Okay. So I answered my own phones. I scheduled my own appointments. I checked my own patients in. I saw them as the physician. I came back in and gave them their shots. I sent their claims to the billing company, to the insurance companies. I followed up on their claims. And I sorted every single piece of mail and took the checks to the bank. Don't be Dr. Una 1.0. Don't do it. That's what I did. And that's what doctors do, some variation of it, some variation. So I said all that to say this. If I could then learn, because this is a skill, if I could then learn to hire, build, and lead profitable teams, oh, you best be sure that you can. You can, right? Because I learned it. It's a skill. And again, this is the reason, actually, let me talk to you guys about this for a second. This is the reason for the profitable private practice movement. Okay. It is not about us wanting to do a program for doing a program's sake. It's that I sat down with my team and we're like, what is the lowest common denominator? What are three core skills that if we teach this to any physician who has a private practice, they can build a profitable practice? It's three things. Fill your schedule, number one. Get paid for the work you do, which many physicians are not doing. Number two, build and lead a profitable team. Number three, if you master these three things, you can thrive this year in private practice, in spite of the things that are being thrown at us. You can thrive, but you will master these three things. And if you don't, you're putting yourself at risk that you won't. Okay. Because back in the day, we could get away with so many different things, even though we had these internal threats, like the insurance company is an external threat, but we had these internal ones, but not today. Not today. We're not going to get away with it. Okay. Now, based on the three things we've looked at, I'm going to give you a bonus point, a bonus threat, and a bonus opportunity. Okay. The three things we've looked at: declining reimbursements, high turnover and staff shortage, administrative and regulatory burdens. These are three threats, life-threatening threats to private practices everywhere. But I've also shown you underneath that there are these opportunities. We can overcome them. It's not the way you think, but we can overcome them. I've shown you those. If you go apply these three things, you will find that, oh my goodness, my private practice is working better. We're bringing in more money. We're bringing in more money for the same number of patients. I'm doing less work for the same number of patients. This can be your experience. This is the experience of hundreds of doctors that I've spoken to personally, okay, who have learned these things, okay? In fact, there was a doctor, she came into the profitable private practice movement, and she had a practice that, she was working. She had, another a clinician working with her. She had an office manager. She had all of these things, but they were all untapped. They were all untapped. So her other clinician wasn't seeing the number of patients that she could see. Her office manager was doing much lower level tasks than what she could do. She joins the profitable private practice. She didn't know how to lead. She didn't know how to proactively fill her schedule. She didn't know how to use her team. She didn't know how to do any of these things. But let me tell you, she's a physician. And so what that means is, and at the same time, she had a great work ethic. At the same time, she was willing to do the work. She was just like, points me in the direction, Dr. Una. And before she joined the profitable private practice movement, I remember going like, when I heard she joined, I was like, oh my goodness, she's a massive action taker. Nobody's ready for what she's going to do. And that's most physicians. Most physicians have an incredible work ethic. Most physicians can pull it off. You just point them in the direction and say, this is what you need to do. So anyway, she comes in, okay? She comes into the profitable private practice movement. She starts filling up her schedule, building her online reputation, getting those Google reviews, doing all of those things, using the recaller, all the strategies that we show for that. She started filling her schedule. She started getting paid for the work to do. I don't even think she was meeting with her biller. She wasn't even meeting with her biller. She now knows, okay, these are the metrics I look at. This is how often I meet. This is how we troubleshoot this. This is how we do all these things. Money starts rolling in. And then she starts leveraging her office manager. Now she's up leveled, like massively up leveled her office manager. Her office manager is then able to help the team serve and earn. She just finished out this last quarter of the year, so this the second quarter of the year at $257,000. She was like, I want to take my practice to seven figures. She had her first quarter that puts her on stage on the path for $1 million practice. And she knows that this next quarter is going to be even more because she knows what to do to pull it off. Right? I want you to think about that. Think about that level of change. That can be your experience rather than, oh, nothing is working. And now I might say you won't have challenges. No, I mean, challenges don't go away. But oh my goodness, you can win. You can win, guys. Okay. So again, this is what we do in the profitable private practice movement. We master three things. You don't need to master 72 things. There are more things to know, but three things. Okay. And in the profitable private practice, you show up every Thursday. Like our next session is tomorrow. You show up every Thursday where you work on your practice. Work on your practice to fill your schedule. Work on your practice to get paid for the work you're already doing. Work on your practice to build that profitable team. That's what we do. And you do all of that for $197 a month or $19.97 a year. Ridiculous. Okay. So if you're not part of us, come join us. EntreMD.com/movement. Okay. And you'll be in class tomorrow. And it's not about learning and more certificates and all of that. It's the fundamental, like, what are the fundamental things I need to know and I need to do to make my private practice work? Okay. All right. So let me give you a bonus one. I said I was going to give you a bonus one in the chat. If you're getting so much out of this, just let me know in the chat. Like, I'm getting a lot out of this. Thank you for doing this, Dr. Una. Okay. All right. Number 4. What is the fourth life-threatening threat to private practices? Okay. It's inflation. Okay. And the escalation of operational costs. Okay. So we all know that it costs so much more in this year to deliver the services that we deliver, say, like before the pandemic, right? Like it costs so much more, whether it's that the team or the medical supplies or the office supplies or the lease or whatever it is, like it's all gone up. Now, it doesn't help that Medicare says, okay, and to reward you for inflation, yeah, like to help you in inflation, we're going to reduce our reimbursements. But bottom line is everything has gone up. Okay. Now you might say, now remember, with each threat, I told you, I will tell you the opportunity. Guys, we have a lot of opportunity to win in private practice. I know it sounds so weird that I would say that. We have so much opportunity. Okay. All right. So what is the opportunity here? Please hear me when I say this. Okay. There is a place in private practice where profits go to die. And they don't die slowly, they die quickly. There is a place in private practice where you have the most waste. Like money just goes is think of it this way. You have money in your car, you open up the window, and you're just like that. Like out the window. Out the window. We do this all the time as private practice owners. Okay. Like gone. Okay. Let me tell you where that place is. It is in our teams. It's in our teams. And I'll tell you why. For everything you do as a business owner, what you're really doing is that you invest in something and you get a return on your investment. That's what we do. Okay. So when you buy medical supplies, it's an investment. You take care of the patient, use it to take care of the patients, do all those things. You get a return on your investment, which is you get your money back plus profit. Right? If you're getting it, just let me know in the chat. I'm getting it. This is important. Everything we pay for that is an expense, we're doing it so we get a return on investment. Okay. Like that's the way this works. Now, for most private practices, the team is an expense, it's not an investment. An investment means I pay you and then you do work, and you do work that covers your salary and covers the overhead associated with your role and creates a profit for the practice, right? So this is now an investment because I can put money in and I can get money out. Okay. So it's a win-win. Actually, it's a win-win-win because the employee wins because they got paid well. The practice wins because the overhead was, covered. So we're okay. The practice owner wins because there was a profit. This is the way a win-win employer-employee relationship works. Okay? This is not the way it works in most private practices at all. Okay? Most private practice owners do not even know how the roles create money. They have no idea. And so because of that, they can lead their people to serve and earn. They just cannot. Okay? So what ends up happening is we're like, I'm a private practice owner and I'm so stressed out. You're so stressed out. Do you have this role, a medical assistant, and a front desk and a referral coordinator and all of that? Oh, you should just hire. And so they just hire. How does this person make money? We don't know. How will they cover the payroll? We don't know. How will they generate a profit? We don't know. And so what ends up happening is the more stress the owner gets, the more people they hire, the more their profit disappears, the more stressed they are because they were stressed without the team. Now they're stressed with the team that they need to manage. This is so again, do we have inflation? All of that we do. But do we have unbelievable team waste? And it's not because of the team, right? Like the first place to look at when you see a team underperforming or not performing or whatever is to look at the leader of the team. I'm the leader of my team. You're the leader of your team. It starts with you, right? So we have unbelievable opportunity. Okay, so let me give you examples because this is important because the math has to math. Okay, now let's say, okay, you hired a front desk person and you didn't know these things. So for you, what does the front desk person do? They stay at the front desk, they greet people, they check them in, they do all of those things, and they say bye to them on their way out. Okay? Well, that's the serving side of things. What is the earning side? They make sure they collect all the copays. They make sure they collect all the old balances. They make sure they collect, like all the co-insurances. They make sure the insurance, the person has insurance, right? Like you're actually going to get paid for seeing this patient. Okay. All right. So let's do some math here. So let's say you have a front desk person. I want to show you how money disappears in private practices. Okay. Yeah. The insurance company, they have issues and we're coming for them, but we have to deal with ourselves first. Okay. All right. Let's say you have a front desk person. Okay. And the front desk person doesn't like talking about money and they don't like collecting money. Okay. They don't like these things. And I can't fault them because many private practice owners don't like these things either. Okay, they don't like it. Okay, so let's say you have this person and every day they forget 5 times to collect copays. Let's not even use that. They forget 3 times to collect to check your insurance eligibility. So they forget it, and every day you have 3 people who have insurance that's not eligible, right? That's not active. Okay, so let's say you're paid 100 and let's use 150. You're paid 150 per patient encounter. Okay. And every day you have 3 people that are non-billable. You can't bill them, right? Like, because they don't have insurance. And when you tell them to pay cash, they're like, well, you didn't tell me that my insurance wasn't working. If you told me my insurance wasn't working, then I wouldn't have seen you. So I'm not paying. So every day you're out $450. But because you haven't listened to this, you didn't even know you're out $450 because your biller would notice, but you don't meet with your biller either. So you don't even see that there's a problem. Okay. So $450 a day times 260, 450 times 260 working days a year. That is $117,000. I need you to type that in the chat. That is $117,000. And you may say, Dr. Una, that's ridiculous. Nobody does that. I have talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of private practice owners. Oh, yes, they do. All the time, all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. But again, I'm kidding because we don't open on Sundays. $117,000. So you hired somebody and you paid them $50,000 a year. Okay, so let's say you pay them $25 an hour. So $50,000 a year. And you paid them $50,000 a year to cost you $117,000 a year. So let's do the full math. That's $167,000 you're out because your front desk team is where profit goes to die. That's where it goes to die. And it's the same with your doctors, is the same with your medical assistant, is the same with your biller. Like in your team, there's so much opportunity for for every profit you have to go there and die. I have met doctors doing 4 million in revenue who are working side jobs to make enough money to pay themselves because they ain't got no profit. So that's an extreme, but it's a spectrum. And there's so many things in between. So the question I have for you is this. And again, this is why we teach about the profitable private practice, profitable team in the profitable private practice movement. In fact, I think it was 2 days ago we did a session on this is how you have team meetings. This is the framework for a team meeting so you can have a profitable team. We do these things. Why? I want to see you win. Okay. So the question I have for you is this. Okay. You know, there's declining reimbursements. But what if you could get paid for the work you do? So yes, they're doing what they're doing, but you give yourself an internal raise, right? You give yourself raise by running your company better. Now there's a high turnover, right? But what if you're able to hire and lead a rock star team? And so everybody can be having high turnover, whatever, but you don't. And you don't because you learn these things. What if, rather than dealing with the 16 extra hours of non-clinical work that private practice owners do every single week, what if you could drop that to an hour? What if you could drop that to an hour? What would that mean for you? What would that mean for your practice? What if, even though there's inflation and increased operational costs, what if you could 10x the productivity of your team? What would happen? What I'm trying to tell you guys is this. You can win in private practice. Don't believe the lie you can't. You can win. You can thrive. Now, yes, yes, yes. Do we have to deal with the systemic things? Yes. But again, if we had 1,000 empowered private practice owners, could we go after them? Yes. What if we had 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000? So not only do I want you to be a part of the profitable private practice movement, I want you to get the doctors in your world. Where, guys, it's less than a cappuccino a day. There's no decision to be had. Like if you think about this, that is a free video where I'm talking to you and training you, you've made more than $197 based on the strategies you pull from this one call. You have nothing to lose. I already fronted you the $197, right? So it's not just about me or just about you, but it's about the private practice community. So I want you to take this video. I want you to share with every private practice owner you have in your world. Why? We need to thrive, guys. Because first of all, if we look away from ourselves, on the other side of us thriving is real people with real health problems that if we're not there, who do they go to see? What happens to them? It also, like looking away from yourself, it's your team. They get to work in a great environment, which is your environment. And they get to have stable jobs and they get to take care of their families. And it's you. You took the risk of starting this practice. You've taken the risk of all this time away from your family and all. But what if you can then build something where they get a return? Where, oh my goodness, you have so much more time, you have so much more financial freedom, and you've left such a beautiful legacy of the impact that you've had. Guys, I've been doing this for a decade and a half. And I get to have financial freedom. And I've built a team so my team can run my practice. I get to homeschool my kids because that's what I want to do. I get to travel. I'm not stressed for nothing. And that could be your experience, like whatever version it is for you. But it's not going to be playing by the rules we play by. It's not going to be. We're going to have to change the way we operate. Okay. So is private practice challenging? Yes. But do we have so much opportunity? Yes. Yes, because 99% of private practices are not run like businesses. They're run like jobs that doctors own, that have missing office managers and missing administration. We have so much opportunity, so much. Okay. But we can't afford to play around. We can't afford to do trial and error. We can't afford to Google our way through. We can't afford to wing it. We cannot. We cannot. We have to know. We have to have um proven winning strategies and execute those. We have to know what to do. Okay. Trying to run a thriving practice without knowing what to do is trying to run a code without knowing what to do. You don't have the algorithm, you don't have anything. Like, that's craziness. That's just crazy. That's completely crazy. Okay. So, what do I want for you more than anything else? I want you to have all the patience you need. I want you to get paid for the work you do. I want you to have a profitable team, because I know this is the pathway to having a lot of impact, to having financial freedom, to having time freedom. And oh my goodness, after investing multiple six figures and over a decade of your life to get said medical education and then taking on the risk of becoming an entrepreneur, a private practice owner, I want you to have that. I want you to have impact. I want you to have financial freedom. And I want you to have time freedom. You deserve it. That's the return on investment of all the things you've done. Okay. So if you're not part of the movement, today's your day. Okay. It's entremd.com/movement. Don't sit in the valley of indecision. The reason why we priced it the way we priced it is so you don't have to, like, you don't have to think about this. Okay, you just go register and come join a group of people who are defying the odds. I want to leave you with this story. Recently we had one of the docs, one of our clients, post this, and this is what she said. She says, "I'm so grateful for this community because today I got a letter from a private equity firm telling me that they wanted to buy my practice." Now, this person is in a position where her practice is thriving. Okay, her practice is thriving. She has a team she loves. She can see the forward trajectory. She knows, like, I'm about to, like, this is about to be real. And she was able to confidently tell them that they should take her off their list, because she has no interest and will not have any interest in selling to private equity ever. And she wasn't saying that because she hates the principle of private equity. And I'm not saying it says she doesn't. She said that because I'm winning. I don't need you. And I want that for every doctor. Every doctor. Okay. So again, when you hear all the narratives of private practice is dead and all of that, I want you to know that it is not. I have heard that story since 2008. It is not dead. Okay. Are there challenges? Yes. Well, we talk so much about the challenges, and I've told you about four very solid opportunities we have where if we make these little tweaks, everything can change. And I've told you about the profitable private practice movement, which is a movement of doctors who have decided to defy the odds, to defy the status quo, to thrive in private practice and be an example of what is possible. And once we have enough empowered people, we're going to go after the system and we're going to turn the system right side up. Okay. So honored I get to do this with you. Come join us in the movement if you haven't done that. I saw the list of some doctors who joined today. Cannot wait to see them in class tomorrow. I am rooting for you. Share this with every private practice owner that you know. Every. You'll be saving a life. Private practices are going out of business every single day, and they don't need to. They don't need to. Okay. All right. Rooting for you. Thank you for joining me. Share this. Let me know how this helped in the comments, and I will see you on